This is the AOC Sports High School Football Preview Show.
Another week of high school football here on Friday Night Rivals, our AOC pregame show. Jim Cox and Dan Brennan as we get ready for our matchup tonight. Our first trip to Ladd this year. First chance to see a couple of teams we haven't seen yet. A couple of teams with just one loss apiece. Gulf Shores coming up to take on the Williamson Lions, a game we're excited to talk more about. Go back to our game last week, Dan. Tale of two halves.
You really want to?
Yeah. Boy, what a win for Spanish Fort.
Yeah.
Down 15-0 at the half. They come back and beat Daphne in the second half. A great win for Spanish Fort and those kids, and I think one with Daphne being off this week, they still got to be thinking about that tough loss.
They got to be, and if the home field ever actually was an advantage,
no doubt.
Spanish Fort, when you need the crowd to get behind you, they did, and they were definitely
took one Katy Perry song and it turned that whole crowd.
Isn't that crazy? You know, every school seems to have their own. Let's start the fourth quarter tradition. So Katy Perry's it for Spanish Fort, but it certainly worked last week.
Yeah, it was a big win for them. Non-region matchup. Now we're back in region play this week, and we'll talk all about that. Our old friend Dr. Cesar Rocco with us here to talk about the knee. ACL is what we hear. It's the most common knee injury here. Just what is it? Like, kind of just start. Let's start at the
beginning.
basics. Yeah.
Well, the anterior cruciate ligament, the ACL, is one of the major ligaments in the knee. It sits in the center of the knee. And when a player injures that ligament, typically becomes very unstable.
And you see it so often, non-contact injuries, and it's almost like you're watching a game and you see a player pull up, and we've seen it so often, we almost all like, ooh, I hope that's not his ACL. But a lot of times non-contact, right?
It is always non-contact.
Wow.
The mechanism of injury is usually a player's running and plants the foot and then turns to get catch a ball or something, or even a soccer player stops, twists, so the foot remains on the floor, and your body turns and twists the knee, and that snaps.
Wow.
I don't think we've seen it as much during high school football. We hear about it a lot, non-contact. We hear it also in practice and in training camp. I don't think we witnessed it that much.
Is it? I mean, we're probably just like anything. Like the coaches, trainers, physician know how to train athletes better to prevent it.
So the trend for the past few years, to the credit of the trainers and to the credit of the coaches, is that they have been very diligent at prevention. And how you prevent an ACL injury, it was by proper conditioning. And everyone thinks about strength training, but you also have to be conscious of
it's flexible, right?
Flexibility.
Yeah.
You have to stretch and train, but also the techniques. You have to know how to, like for instance, also in girls in basketball and volleyball, much more prone to tearing their ACLs because of the way that they land. Sometimes if they land with their knees together and twist, they can tear the ACL. Whereas if they learn how to land properly, so flexibility, strength, following the coaches and trainers' guidance, that is why we have such a decrease in injuries.
It used to be, a lot of times it was career ending, and you would see someone who had the ACL and they'd have a scar like this, this big. Yeah. And now, I mean, you see players back in less than a year a lot of times. It seems like on the NFL level, I see it.
So there is just like everything in medicine, we learn a lot over the years, and especially with NFL and football and college football. We've learned the trends of what happens to the ACL. So we have various techniques on how to fix it, but also the rehabilitation is very, very important. There was a time where there was acceleration in getting these players back to the field. We have learned that it takes a year. So if I have someone that is injured on my care, we go through the process of the surgery and the physical therapy, et cetera, but I don't allow them to do contact sports for a year. And that is what is, with younger and younger children playing more and more aggressively, the younger, the 8 to 14, 15, have the highest rate of recurrence of injury.
Because too soon? Just because it's too soon?
Well, too soon, too eager.
Yeah.
I'm going there. I'm conquering the world. So these children are getting hurt, and so we have learned a tremendous amount. But career ending, so it's upwards of 30+% sometimes don't get back to the pre-injury level. So, but some of these NFL players and some of these college players are completely different human beings.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
DNA freaks.
The DNA
yeah.
is just amazing.
Yeah.
So I remember it was when I did my sports medicine training at the Houston Clinic. One of the professors said, you can put baling wire on these guys, that they're going to do great. It's part of your skill. So just amazing human beings, and they're dedicated, and they have the DNA and they have the dedication, and so it's awesome.
Always good to see. And got the green memo today. He and I this morning. You were busy doing morning radio. When we come back, we're going to talk Gulf Shores Dolphins. Actually, Heather's going to handle that for us. She got up with Coach Hudspeth earlier this week, and she's going to fill us in on their matchup, how they see things tonight as they get ready to take on the Williamson Lions.
Welcome back to the high school football preview show. We're ready to talk some teams now. As Friday Night Rivals, we are already heading into week 7, if you can believe it, with a 5A Region 1 matchup at Lad People Stadium in Mobile as the Gulf Shore Dolphins take on the Williamson Lions. And to talk all things Dolphins football and this matchup is head coach Mark Hudspeth. Coach, thank you so much for being here. It's so good to see you today.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about last week. You had a home matchup defeating Murphy 35-14. That was great to stay in the win column last week, right?
It was. We came out, played well early, jumped up 14-0, and then made some mistakes, sort of uncharacteristic to us offensively. Had a couple of turnovers and let them climb back in the game at halftime. But in the second half, we went on to a 21-0 run. And was able to put the game away.
All right, Coach, this is your second year at Gulf Shores. You were 6-4 in year 1. What has been the difference that you have seen between last season and now as you're now 5-1?
Well, I think just one is we're year 2 in our program, building a culture with our team. And I think our culture is really strong, and I think that's one of the things that gives us an opportunity each day. Our players, we feel like, are a year more developed than they were last year. And then, we've picked up a few new players that have sprinkled into the starting lineup on top of the development of our other players. And so we're making progress slowly or quickly, I hope, and hopefully we can continue improving. Not where we want to be, but we're close. We're getting there.
Yeah, for sure. What you're building is definitely progressing week by week, and we've seen it. But you also have some extensive experience in the college ranks from Central Arkansas, Nicholls State, Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns, just to name a few. Talk about your transition from college ball to high school.
The football part, I will say, has been just about the same. The preparation daily, your routine that you're on each week at practice, and the things that you're working on each week, that part has been, for the most part, consistent. Take out, though, the recruiting aspect, and now that's given us coaches much more family time than we've had in the past. So the football is the same, but you've taken a big slice of that pie out. That you would be on the phone all night in recruiting calls, or on the road recruiting, junior days on weekends, camps on weekends, you name it. That part has been nice to take that off my plate and just focus on football and my family.
Yeah, so since that is off your plate now, you're spending a little bit more time with your family. Have you guys done anything the past few weeks to spend some time together?
Well, right now we've got 3 little ones, and so my free time away from football here is football, watching my 8-year-old team, watching my 10-year-old football team, and my 12-year-old. I'm coaching the 8U team, so I'm really coaching 2 teams, if you can believe it.
You bet. So you're very, very busy, to say the least, for sure. All right, Coach, this year you guys have dropped to 5A. Talk on the competition that you've gone up against so far.
6A Region 1 was really tough. You had McGill, you had Saraland, Spanish Fort, some really good teams. And then you drop to 5A and you think, hey, 5A is not going to be as tough. Although 6A was top heavy with some really tough teams, I feel like that 5A Region 1 may be a little bit deeper because you You've got a very good Williamson team. You got a Viger team that won the 4A last year that's outstanding. And so there's some really, really good competition in this league. You got UMS Wright ranked #1 in the state. And so it's tough week in and week out. Some great competition, good coaches, good players. And so it's been a challenge, and we still got some good teams ahead of us.
Well, and you're about to take on a good team as well, taking on Williamson, also 5-1 on the year. What do you see out of the team this week, out of the film that you've seen, and how are you preparing for them for Friday night?
Well, the scariest thing before you even watch any film is you look in the last 5 games, they've given up only 2 touchdowns. And so they've shut out 3 of their last 5 opponents, and that's hard to do. And so they're playing really good football defensively. They've got a lot of talent. Their safeties, very physical downhill. Their linebackers are very active. They make a lot of plays. And so, we'll have to do an outstanding job on perimeter blocking and blocking some of these guys to give Ronnie Royal and some of our guys hopefully a little bit of room to make some plays.
Traveling to Lad People's Stadium on Friday, how do you think the atmosphere is going to be as both of you guys have the same record and you're trying to get the same win?
I think it's going to be a really a great atmosphere. I think they'll bring a great crowd, being basically the home team, and we'll definitely bring a good crowd. We've been traveling with a lot of people. We've got the Gulf Shores right now. Gulf Shores is fired up, and they've been doing a great job supporting us. You'll see a good contingent of Gulf Shore Dolphin fans. They'll have a good a showing for sure. And so it should make for a great atmosphere at Ladd Stadium, a place that I'm very familiar with. Played in that stadium, I think 5 times playing South Alabama when Joey Jones, head coach there. Yeah. And then my offensive coordinator, Kenny Edenfield, was the OC at South Alabama the last 3 years. And so obviously he was playing in Ladd Stadium before they moved to the new stadium.
So you got good memories for sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We did pretty well in Ladd.
There you go. Well, Coach, we greatly appreciate you being here. Head coach Mark Hudspeth again for the Gulf Shores Dolphins. Thank you so much. And up next, Jim and Dan is going to be talking with the Williamson Lions. Stay with us.
AOC pregame show for our Friday night rivals tonight, as we've got a 5A Region 1 matchup here tonight. Both teams coming in with a 5-1 record. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Antonio Coleman, head coach of the Williamson Lions. Jeremy Williams, our quarterback for the Lions here as well, as we get ready for this matchup tonight. I know we're excited to see both of these teams. We haven't had a chance to see them tonight.
AC.
Antonio Coleman, who we've got to know as he was the defensive coordinator at Williamson, the games we've done over the past. First of all, good to see you. Congratulations on how things are going. You got to be happy the way the season started so far?
Man, it's been fast and it's been a whirlwind, taking the job so quickly. Mm-hmm. But the best thing about it is having a relationship with the kids.
You told us that a year ago, I believe, on the field before the Faith Academy game, I believe. And you were saying that just meant so much to you, that you'd been in their world. You grew up in that neighborhood. You understood the community. Mm-hmm. And you really understood the kids, and that was going to be the key to everything. Now, it's nice to know the kids, and it's nice to be 5-1 and holding people to 4 points a game. What a defense you've got.
Man, my defensive guys, they do a great job. One thing that I was blessed to have is the opportunity to bring in some great coaches, great teachers also.
You can't be successful without it, right? I mean, you can't. You got no chance.
You really can, and they make my job so easy. Donnell Stanley, which played linebacker at Williamson.
Yep.
When I played, Jonathan Mitchell is the guy that went out and got back. He had left Williamson to bolster that defensive staff, and they do a great job. I'm in on the game plan a little bit, but I let them do their thing. So they call their plays. They come with their defensive game plan, and it makes my job a lot easier, and it definitely makes it a lot easier with a a lot of guys that you've had since the 7th grade.
Yeah, so start off, let's talk with defense, certainly your bailiwick, and you said 4 points a game, 26 points, I think, total so far this year.
It's like a practical joke.
Yeah, talk a little bit about your quarterback out here with us, Jeremy Williams. Talk about QB1.
Well, QB1 was actually a defensive end last year. He had about 12 sacks for us.
That's where all the best athletes are, right? All the best athletes on the defensive side of the ball.
12 sacks and trying to avoid getting sacked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now he's getting sacked. So he's a kid that, we got young and was always a backup quarterback, but always thought the world of his arm, But we had Daniel Miller, which was a kid that can light it up.
Sure.
And Jeremy, I want to say besides this year, he may have got maybe 3 or 4 game snaps of actual live game snaps in a high school football game. So for him coming in, you have to look at him as him being a freshman, and how do you counter that? And that's to go get arguably probably one of the best quarterbacks to come through Mobile and Jamarcus Russell. And I think he's did an amazing job with Jeremy. And Jeremy loves the coaching, he loves the teaching. And his ears are wide open, man. He's always willing to learn, and that has us sitting at 5-1 this season.
Wow. Were you excited to make because great success on the defensive side. Were you excited to make the change back over?
Yes, sir. I know I'm going to be the captain of the team, and I know I do things right. I just want them to follow my footsteps.
We talk about this a lot. Like you say, so you're the quarterback of the team in the high school, and it's a lot of responsibility. I mean, there's a lot that's put on your shoulders to hold down that position, not just throwing the ball and handing the ball off. There's a lot that goes with it, right?
Yes, sir. Got to be at practice every day. You can't miss. You miss, it's noticeable.
It's noticeable for sure, yeah. Where's the quarterback?
So it's just, you got to do the small things right, because if you don't, everybody else going to feel like they could.
Right. Is it more fun to sack the quarterback or more fun to throw the touchdown pass?
Touchdown pass.
Great answer.
Oh, that's it. All right, so this Gulf Shores team, we have not seen them since Coach Hudspeth has come there. What have you seen? What has been keeping you up awake, at night looking to get ready for this game?
They have some dynamic players. We'll start off with Ronnie Royal, which is a kid that is dynamic every time his hands is on the ball.
And they do like to get it to him, don't
they? Right. They're definitely going to find a way to get him the ball. And, that's something that has, kept us up. But we do understand that he's an athlete, and they have a couple more pieces also. But you have to look at their coaching staff. They have a college-led coaching staff in which Paul Rhodes coached me at Auburn. He was my defensive coordinator.
I remember that name, yeah.
Yeah. So, I know they have great coaching over there. They're taught well. They're coached up. They're going to do exactly what they're supposed to be. They're going to be fundamentally sound. So we have to come out with a great game plan and execute special teams, turnovers, and which team is going to limit the offensive team to the least expensive, most explosive offensive plays.
Yeah.
You've been pretty good at this so far.
Yeah. What do you think that's going to be? Going to see the key to the game. We can't wait, Jeremy. Thanks for coming. Can't wait to see you out there. We're going to just love it. Defensive end, quarterback. Now, love it. Coach, so glad you're the head coach there. Look forward to seeing you on the game. Stick around. Heather is going to be with these two. And she's also going to have our Wendy's Giant of the Week as we get ready for the kickoff tonight. Williamson playing host to Gulf Shores here on Friday Night Rivals.
Welcome back, everybody, to the high school football preview show. Before we get to our guest, it is, of course, going into the Wendy's Giant of the Week. Are we ready for this one? Congratulations to Braden Jenkins. He's a senior running back and wide receiver from Theodore High School. He's this week's Wendy's Giant of the Week. Do you want to be this week's Wendy's Giant of the Week? If you are a junior or a senior who plays on the football team at any of the high schools in our Alabama viewing area, well, guess what? You can win. Log on to utv44.com. Click on the contest page to be entered for a Wendy's Giant of the Week prize pack. Again, rules and regulations do apply. All right, Jeremy Williams, QB1, number 1 with me, and Antonio Coleman, head coach. And I'm so great to have both of you here. I think this is the first week out of the 11 weeks that we're going to have that I have both a head coach and a player. Normally it's both players. So congratulations on being the first one this season. How's it feel?
Well, thank you so much. I'm honored. First and foremost, you know, thank you for having us. We're just excited for the opportunity.
Yeah, 5-1 on the year. What's it going to take to get 6-1?
Major focus.
Yeah.
Great special teams play. No turnovers. Just doing what we've been continuing to do week in and week out, and that's play some strong defense.
All right, QB1, going from defensive end to quarterback, talk about that transition this year because you're killing it.
It's been great. It's been easy because I was already a quarterback, just backup, but now I'm just a starter now.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's easy.
Getting that rhythm, right? All right, this is the fun part. I'm excited to have him on here because I don't normally have a coach on here, but we've got a couple of fun questions, rapid fire questions. We ready? All right, Coach. Perfect football weather. Describe it.
Cold.
Cold.
Warm.
Rain?
Warm.
Okay, warm, but rain with the cold?
Oh, absolutely. Snow.
Okay. Your stock just went way down with me. All right, if you can travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Paris.
Paris. Why Paris?
That was the first thing that came to my head.
Okay. All right.
Greece.
Why Greece?
Oh, man, I look at the pictures. It's amazing.
Right?
I'll go and never come back.
Okay, your stock just went up with me a little bit more. Do you guys have a nickname that people call you other than QB1?
Bright Eye.
Okay. I would have never guessed. There you go. What about you, Coach?
Big 12.
Big 12. Why Big 12?
Say I've been the same size since I was 12 years old.
I love that. Last question. If you could have any celebrity be your best friend, who'd it be?
That's a hard one.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Celebrity? I'm a celebrity.
Oh, so, excuse me.
Celebrity-wise, that's a tough one for me. I like a lot of celebrities. Kevin Gates. He's cool. He's a celebrity.
All right, we'll take it. We hope you guys have a wonderful time watching the game. We'll send it back to Jim and Dan next. Kickoffs coming up soon.